Good morning, Nico. Good morning. Hey, I had the voice going this morning. How are you doing, Nico?
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning. You're still my lucky charms. I had some oatmeal for breakfast to start the day today. I do have to start with a very serious note. I want to say good morning to Pat. Good morning to Paul. But we wouldn't be here today without someone who departed yesterday, left this mortal coil, Regis Philbin. And I modeled this whole show after I'm the Regis, you're the Kathy Lee, this way, right? But 89 years old, he had a good life. I liked it better when Michael Strahan took over, but here's to
I'm kind of a Karen, so it makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of a Karen, so it makes a lot of sense.
I'm trying to. What is the male equivalent to a Karen? A Chad, by the way. Good morning,
Chad.
Yeah, I think it's a Chad. I hope we don't have any Chads out there. You start.
Monster Sidar.
I can't even. So we're gonna drop a lot of comic speculation today. I have been on a little vacation, getting away to Cape Cod for some time with some friends, out on a beachfront, away from everybody, socially distancing. Felt good to get out. See a lot of people popping in this morning. Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning, Jeff. But also, I'm excited because baseball is back. I'm also a huge Premier League fan, and even though it was a rough year for Arsenal, we're in 10th right now. A lot of big games today, so we're going to keep this tight. I want to be off, like games are on at 11 a.m. I know we're not going to get off in an hour, but we're going to slide through some stuff.
I bought so much stuff at a store in Pittsburgh, I left it there, so I've got to get out of here too. I got to go back and get my crap before it gets reshelved.
You don't trust them to mail that out to you? How far a drive is that, Nico, from
like an hour
where you are? Oh, so that's not bad. That's
yeah. No, there's more shops to be had.
Well, that's if you plan it out along the way, right? Go Red Sox. No, please get out of here with that. We're not going to go. We're not. This is a nonpartisan baseball podcast. So anyway, so I saw you were showing me that Batman Beyond, right?
Yeah. So this is the first time anybody's seen it, and the best part is I just grabbed a second one on a Facebook Live auction. I've been looking for copies for 2 years, and I've found 2 in 2 weeks.
That's
Boom! Chakalaka.
Boom. Third print.
You want to explain to him why it's a third print?
No. Why don't you explain that, Nico? Because I have. I have a time today.
Yeah. There's no UPC symbol.
Look down. Showed up close on your little corner there.
No UPC symbol.
Yeah, you can see. That's how you know what. Right. So you, and again, I hope people are familiar, and I'm always figuring there's someone new who's going to be on here as well. There are a lot of different variants that people have been chasing, whether they be the DC Universe, the newsstand variants, second and third print variants, of course, just regular variants that were printed out within a book. You can read those UPC symbols to tell you almost everything you need to know. So it's very important, I think, people educate themselves on that, know what they're looking for.
You got me solo screen, buddy.
Oh, yeah. So it's all right. Can you still hear me, though? Is that all right?
I can hear you. It's staring at myself is mildly unsettling.
Okay,
it's mildly unsettling.
There we go. I believe those were released in packs in KB Toy Store. Is that true? Larry is popping in with his gems on there. Maybe?
No, I think he's 100% correct. Yeah.
Who are we to
see? And that's the kind of rarity, right, for lack of a better description, that I like out of that kind of like 90s, early 2000s market. Books like the DCU variants, books like the Batman Beyond third print. There's ready for it, 5 copies on the CGC census, maybe 4.
There's going to be 5. There will be 5 or 6.
There will be 5. I don't know. The interesting part is that mid-grade copy I just grabbed in a Facebook Live auction. I've never in my entire life ever bid on anything on Facebook Live. My buddy's like, dude, I think this is a third print. Look at it. And sends me a message. I'm like, do you want it? He's like, no. And then I'm just bidding aggressive, right? Like it was at 80. The guy's like 85. I'm like 1 1/4, just 130. I'm like $200. You know what I mean? Like, it's mine. Get the fuck out of the way. Because I wanted them to think I was crazy and like, well, we can't buy it from this guy, and they'll just let it go.
Right. And
that's if I really want something, that's how I bid, as opposed to like I'm going to try to steal it and then lose it at the last second. Plus, I'd never bid with this person before. I didn't even really know how the bidding went.
and I think that's important. And I think a lot of times when you're looking at books and you're number one, I think you always have to like look at photos, right? Like when I'm selling books, I'm putting big photos up there because sometimes people are selling things and they don't even know they have them, Nico. And I'll notice that I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that was a newsstand that he put up, or this was, and a lot of people are educated who are on eBay, obviously, but places like Mercari, Let Go, a lot of these like online, like sort of like yard sales where you find things in your neighborhood and they have pictures up. One, you're less likely to see stock photos up like you see on eBay when you're looking at those sites. So always look at those and ask for, if you want more clarification on a book, if you think something is a stock photo, ask for a photo on things, because that's when you're most likely to see some of the things that might pop under the radar for other people. And so you told me that you found that, right? And I just wanted to, I was like, sorry up there, and he's told like this. Yeah. Look what I found under the stairs in my basement, Nico. Look, at the same time, isn't this?
Shit.
Should it?
I should have not ran my mouth like everybody else, and that could have found its way to eBay first.
Wait a minute, it was, but wait, this is super ultra rare, right? These books were not, I found so many sets of these, like literally, I have sets like this that were like back-to-back sets, like all over the place. And again, I never disrespect spec, because I think great spec is just spec that has yet to be discovered or found. But I definitely would say that, once the market has spoken on something, how is that, it's the force of the market, right? The market, right? The market speaks. Like I just saw a big debate going on over on Chew, comics heating up about Venom 3 versus Venom 4 again, right? Like Venom 3 is that glorified. It's like, it's not really Null. It's like the projection of Null. And so 4 is the real first print. You know what? That's why I say get the books before, get the books after. The people who get sour grapes are the books who are the ones who missed out on something that nobody was talking about. Grab that book and then they gravitate towards the next book. So always think of the motives, think of the motivation, but it's very tough to move against the tide when the market speaks. Just keep unwrapping that shit.
Yeah, and for the record, like, oh, sorry, can you guys hear that? I apologize.
It's fine. Yeah, it's great. Why don't you eat a sandwich on there? I'm getting bad flashbacks.
I thought it was all about the treats. I thought we were supposed to have a Danish, but anyway. So sometimes you got to know when to be the buyer. Sometimes you got to know when to be the seller.
So
Batman Beyond or third print, I'm a buyer. None have come to market in 2 years. I've been looking for that book on eBay since I got back into comics, because I was looking for it a gajillion years ago, before I got out of comics for 5 years.
Well, and that's the other thing about these holy grails, these white whales, right? That you seek out. Like I have 3 books that are not, they're not stuff that's like crazy, unobtainable. Like
you've got one of mine. That hack slash cover.
That book, and I've yet to so there are books that I've yet to see pop up anywhere else, and these aren't like these are books that people aren't talking about, and I know they're books that I don't like to bring up, and that hack slash, like that's something that. Maybe I will sell that to you, Nico. Maybe when I'm ready to, I need another vacation. But did you ever see this book? This is a rare Null variant. I'm just going to show you a piece of it. Did you ever see this Tyler Kirkham Null variant?
No.
Yeah. Oh, you know why? Because this is Immortal Man. This is a DC comic. Again, let me just tell you, when people chase Null, like Red Eyes,
walked right into that one, didn't I?
Venom Eyes, but here's my point. People are creating covers left and right. These covers are selling left and right. The stores are creating covers because people are chasing them and paying crazy prices. Modern speculation, Nico. It is crazy. Quick segue. I heard maybe on your other show, maybe you'll be doing something. I heard you've been dropping some modern speculation like trailers. I'm always happy to cross-pollinate the stream.
Well, it appears that out of the kindness of your heart, you've agreed to throw on a soccer jersey for the Flipside. We're going to, of course, rep the Specfast Club and the virtue of the DeSPECtive channel. We'll also be joined by Go Collect All-Star Ben, a.k.a. Mr. Miles, my dear friend, Sleepy John, who's, I would like to believe, as big of a fan of me as I am of him, but, sometimes he rebukes my friendship.
Sleepy John.
Yeah, tells me to go fuck myself, but that's okay. He's still my friend, and he's going to be on, and I'm really excited about that. Then we got Carter, aka Mercenaut.
That's right.
Yeah, baddest digger in the game. Lucas Fishina from It's Drunken Chat, son. Who
the preview solicit guy.
He spins the motherfucking wheel. Yeah, they're doing something with previews and Diamond, and Lucas is smart. I'm really excited that he's on board. There's maybe the most underrated best mind in comics, right?
I would say
Matt DeVoe. Oh,
I thought you were talking about me again. No, I'm sorry. No. Matt DeVoe, let me tell you, I'm a big fan of his stuff from way back, like seeing that name pop up all over. And then when you see Matt DeVoe's name on something, you know, you're looking at something quality there, and you're looking at something that you're going to want to either have in your collection already, because when it gets out there, that news gets out there, people are buying, and it's being marked up already. There are people who are sort of like the E.F. Hutton. I don't know if I'm really dating myself, but they used to say when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you did, but I'm also
I'm a child of the 80s, Nico.
I too am a pop culture aristocrat. So
let's keep this going. Thank you, Pat. That is, you know what, we're trying to bring. I would never take Mel V's vibe, and apologies again to Mel V, because I just can't stay up for his show.
Dude, listen, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to take a nap and then wake up in the middle of the night and then get on. But you've got to agree to do the same thing. We could join him for a couple hours.
I'll try. My wife saw me sleeping. She said, "Let him sleep. He doesn't need to get drunk and go on Mel's show." But
that show's a lot better, though. I mean, I told him, I was like, dude, it was fucking unwatchable. And then thankfully there would be like Lucas would start in, you would start in, and I'd just be like, Jesus Christ.
The format and working out the kinks of this whole
format of like, we're gonna give another way a book, and it was take 2 hours, and I was like, it was like a 7-hour show, and like you had 2 hours of the best content on YouTube and 5 hours where I literally wanted to like just throw pencils in my ears so I didn't have to hear about these stupid giveaways. Now it's like, we're going to give away a book, spin the wheel, boom, done, back to comics. And I'm just like, oh, thank you, Jesus. It's perfect.
Speaking of back to comics, Nico, people don't tune to see us banter. Well, maybe they do.
Sorry. Let's get moving.
First of all, I love Larry's pick this week, Suicide Squad 7. You know, they've been hyping Deadshot's death for a while. Are they going to now have someone, you know, you're seeing all this sort of transformation of characters, these legacy characters. DC had legacy characters that they sort of buried over the years with their Teen Titans have been all over the board and off the board. But maybe this is one of those characters that DC can develop a little. Kate Bishop type character. I think her name is going to be called like something Shot 2, like Little Shot or something, or Small Fry. I don't know. Something like that. Some great DC name. I want to talk really quickly about, we've seen like year zero, this spec was floating, buying up, selling everywhere. AWA books, big recommending these books from AWA.
Recommendation. Nominalization. Yeah.
That's how that goes.
You did good.
Bill and Ted is dropping on In Demand, coming in September. So this might be your last chance to sell these Bill books. Keanu looked really rough. Something else, I don't know. I read some books this week. I read Sin Eater, and here's a book I love. This hardcover Death of Jean DeWolf. Beautiful front, beautiful back on it as well. Of course, it's Peter Parker 107 through 110, and then 134, 136. If you've never read the story, The Death of Jean DeWolf, one of the best tales out there. Peter David, of course, one of the great Spider-Man writers and great X-Factor writers and just great comic writers. I'm a big fan of his work. But this was something really dealt with the Sin Eater and a major tragedy in Spider-Man's life. Some of this may come back into play. And again, this is a beautiful like hardcover edition of this. Of course, you want those original books as well. So that's something that that's been popping up a little. I have been going crazy, Nico, with this. I love this technology, right? So I'm going to try this out now. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna add to the stream.
Okay.
Boom. Okay, first of all, Eisners were this week. And I don't know if there's an Eisner bump like there's an Oscar bump. I don't think there is, but Little Bird series I've been a big fan of. Huge critical success.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Gary. Even if there's not a bump, it's like the Cannes Film Festival. You win at Cannes, who pays attention?
Yeah.
Mainstream Hollywood. It's the same deal. You win at the Eisners, who pays attention, particularly in a market where people can't do a lot of like handshaking and haggling, I think this thing's got renewed life. I think that's a smart pick.
Absolutely. And I just want to, before I want to segue 1 second. And Larry, it's so funny because, again, he's reading my mind here. I'm going to put it back on. He talked about, I've been seeing a lot of creators, both online and in different places, talking about not getting their DC books, not ordering back with DC. In fact, one of my only 2 stores left in Staten Island, they are not getting DC books anymore due to all the problems they've had with that distribution. So we could be watching some of those DC books, especially watch Wonder Woman coming out this week. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. There are a couple of DC books to be on the lookout for over the last few weeks. People like that Catwoman book went crazy. And I was actually in Cape Cod. I was at the beach, 6:30 in the morning, drinking my coffee and reading that on my iPad. And I put that book up right away. And that's a book that went crazy for 2 reasons. One, it had this new sort of character in the back of it, sort of this cat girl type. And 2, it was the reappearance of Snowflame back from New Guardians 2, which was a cocaine-driven hero. And they did a nice job of updating him. So watch those DC books. You're absolutely right in that, Larry. But now I'm going to pop back over here. The other book that I love that won Bitterroot won Best Series. And how deserving. We've seen the variants blowing up on this. This is such a really... Not a totally unique tale, but the way they set the timing of monster hunters during this particular time that hadn't been explored, it's really taken off with me. It's taken off with readers, and obviously it's taken off with speculators in terms of a lot of their variant covers have hit big. I remember that Do the Right Thing was one of the first covers I was checking out. Now, Nico, have you seen this one? They had San Diego Comic-Con at home this week. What do you know about this, Nico? What do you know about
it? Was unwatchable, and it was sponsored by the Yakuza Sega Genesis game. I was like, what the fuck is that? What is what? Did I hear that right?
One of the big problems was they were dropping streams, but not doing them as if they're... I mean, I understand you can't make everything live, but the way they recorded and then dropped the whole thing instead of having it live, you were able to fast forward right to the end, see what spoilers were out there, what to buy. These IDW books went crazy. The Sleeping Beauties one, which is I'm going to show that book a little later. Sleeping Beauties went crazy. This one was up at 1.
Hey, Gary, wasn't this a pick? Remember when we had to do a crossover pick?
So
you're like, I love ponies, Transformers, and I'm like, pardon me?
So this was one of the books, Nico, that I
got him.
Yeah. So that was a book, and they dropped those during there. And don't forget that I also advised at that time for $30-something that.
That's the one.
Yeah. So this was the 2013 first crossover cover appearance between My Little Pony, Transformers. These were limited. These were cheap. Some guy was selling 10 of them, I think, for $35. So this was something that you could have seen 4 months ago, grabbing these off. They disappeared. I just saw a raw
friendship is magic.
Yeah.
More than meets the eye.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything else to say.
Yeah. I
got 2 tags.
Know about it. Buy what people like. And when you have cross pollination, in fact, that goes into this next little bit as well. And there it made that list, one of those top 10 lists. I don't even know what this is CBSI, I think. $150 to $200 range. There's that Usagi Yojimbo book that it's going. You could have gotten it for $10 now, selling for $400 to $500.
Which one? I can't see it. I can't see it, Gary.
Here you go. Boom. So the Usagi Yojimbo above, and then we spoke about that, of course.
Yeah, but you had no shot of getting that. No, you needed like one of the card they have the robots that the baseball card people use.
Yeah, that's exactly. You needed something, or I liken it to when you get in and all the variants are sold out on the Wednesday night before you let in for the Thursday preview on New York Comic Con, where all those books are gone already. Well, where are they? They're on eBay, right?
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, so let's keep racing through. So show that.
I like those the Usagi things. I sent them to you, and then I didn't buy the 1 in 500. I only bought the 1 in 1,000 ones.
Yeah, I actually grabbed one of the foil remark versions of that one.
Did they already sell out?
I don't know. I never look back, and you know what? That's a great.
Yeah. Who? Where do we buy those?
That was called like It was called like Yuku or Dooku or
I don't know.
Yuzu. Do you? Yeah. Oh well, I'll find it.
It's a Google search away. That's about as close as I'm going to get to the first appearance of Usagi Yojimbo, barring me finding one at a flea market and being like, I'm going to pay you this amount now, but I'm going to come back with a check for you when I save a little bit of money. Thank you, ma'am. I don't think you know what this is, but...
And just to bring up what Nico's talking about, because, we talk to each other like no one else is in the room. This is a reprint of the Albedo print with Usagi leaning through the sort of the hut in the light behind
and
him.
It's a foil cover. There was like 1 in 1,000, and then they did a cartoon version, like a Chibio or
Chibi. Yeah, I think we're pronouncing that totally wrong, but it's probably Chibi version of that.
Chibi.
But I got
a friend who's fluent in Japanese, got a master's degree. Right now, he's crying on the inside.
That's okay.
But anyway,
there are people crying literally watching us now, Nico.
Yeah, sorry.
Other things like Back to the Future Transformers, Back to the Future specs starting to heat up. Again, we saw that that great Biff Tannen playbook, the one that was given away, going for ridiculous amounts. That's really that moved on to maybe the 4th official book on my list of books that I would love to have in my collection. Moving through, one thing I want to talk about is what we do on this show, Nico, and what I really do. I sometimes I do solo shows on Comic DeSPECtive. I never want to throw books out that I'm holding on to copies of to throw out, pump and dump that model out there. I always want to share this out. One of the real reasons I keep my my Twitter feed, which you can never see because I have the whole Comic DeSPECtive, but I'm at the Anglophiles, is on Twitter. When something pops up, I put that on my feed right away. I'll retweet something. When we saw Scout Comics, It Eat What Feeds It start to heat up, one of the people from Scout Comics came on and said they're still on sale on the site, and I was able to buy direct retail editions and ash cans, 5 of each for like I forget what they were. They were like ridiculously cheap amount from, but people rush to go to eBay, right? So that's one example, Nico. So that's one.
Yeah, shout out to James Hake. He's a stud.
Yeah. So I'm always a big I talk about these Stadium Comics variants, right? This is the newest one. I had just tweeted out about it because I do follow Stadium Comics. They put out pre-orders are live for Archie and Friends Endless Summer G.I. Joe Duke Action variant. They're becoming very well known for this. I retweeted this. I said they have 300 copies. It was gone probably in 15 minutes. These are impossible to find. If you look at, I'm going to go back to us a minute, Nico. Let's see if we go back to full. I have so one thing with these Stadium Comics variants is this is something we've spoken about for a while, right? So the first one I think that really went on the radar was, of course, the Hughes one, the one that was supposed to be created.
Yeah, they murdered that one. Yeah.
But people were able to really get through on that one, and it killed the regular trade version. Then we had they've done classics of like What If Betty Had Found the Hammer of a Thunder God, another one tough to find. Some of them will not sell out, some of them don't.
There's a Moon Knight one that I love.
There's a great Moon Knight one. There's also the bitch slap down the stairs one as well. But these G.I. Joe ones have been, like I said, $15 a piece. They did one for Archie and Friends Geeks and Games, which who's buying these, and then they did one for Betty and Veronica Friends Forever. So you can get these $15. The one I just heard people talking about and saying they couldn't even get their hands on, let's see if I can get back to this now. Let's go right back. Here we go. Was this one. And here's actually, by the way, that is an homage. The regular cover is an homage to the Beach Boys Endless Summer cover, if you've ever seen that. But here's the other cover, right? This G.I. Joe, a little bit about that game, right? So they're known for doing, they've already done a Hulk 181 variant. They had it with Betty and Veronica. They had done one, looks exactly like this, but this was a beauty. As soon as I saw this with that old logo, and again, I put this up on Twitter. I said, look out for it. And now they just shipped 3 of them. And again, these were cheap. You got them. People have to be looking outside of eBay. They have to be going to the source. You have to be going to companies. You have to be following them back and forth. And these are selling for, like I said, that G.I. Joe Dead game, that was my favorite cover of anyone, because every other cover looked like a painted cover of Snake Eyes or a Storm Shadow. I mean, there's only so much you can do with, so I like what they're doing with the covers at Stadium Comics. Keep an eye out for them. There's someone to definitely keep checking out. Now, here's something. I am not a Power Rangers person, right? But but
if you haven't seen the YouTube adult Power Rangers, it's worth a search. It's exceptional.
I would say has this become Blind Adam's podcast all of a sudden? Is that
no, not that kind of adult, Gary?
You're talking about
weird.
Is that James Vanderbeek is in that, or someone who was in that? Someone
You're better with actors' names than me there, Blind Adam, but I don't know. But it's a guy who's like, he's like a big film star, and they spend like a little bit of money on it, and it's like for adults, and there's murder and a little bit of TNA. My man, Blind Adam. But there, it's good, dude. It's good.
I have not seen the show, but what I do know is that.
Did you see that one, the James Vanderbeek thing?
No, of course not.
Oh, dude, you're missing out. Please watch that for me.
I have huge. Okay, let me explain again. I have huge gaps in my knowledge base of things. Like Breaking Bad is something I've never seen. Right? Like
we're over 2, Gary. Yeah, we're over 2 now, buddy.
Just keep going, Nico. But anyway, so this was the Jen Bartel spoiler variant for the Ranger Slayer one shot that just came out. It was bagged up, and I guess apparently, if you're someone who knows this, she has now taken over as the role that Drakon, is that his name? Drakon. Some Power Ranger fans are literally killing over from this. But this was the Bartel cover. She's taken over this role. She first appeared, I've spoken about it again and again, that Go-Go Power Rangers 8. They love this character. This is a character you're going to see. I just saw, this was just released before we came on Twitter. This was the cover for Drakon New Dawn, right? So all these variant covers are coming out. She's featured on the covers now. She is the leader, I guess, in the world where she comes from. She used to work for Drakon, then she went with the Rangers. Anyway, all I can tell you is that Go-Go Power Rangers 8, the covers continue to sell at a phenomenal rate. I bought so many of those regular covers, but there's also the Hyperforce variant. There is the movie, the Bustos variant. There is a locker variant on that one as well. They were available through the Boom site for so long. The Hyperforce variant, I bought a copy of a week ago. Dan just sold one of those for like $45 that I sent him a free copy of. So again, you want to look for those Go-Go Power Rangers 8. Ranger Slayer is a character that's they're looking for. All right, let's keep going, Nico. Are we over Peach Momoko yet? This is going to be my weekly reminder. Are we over her yet with this? This is people are chasing this or no? What? Okay, next.
I was over it a long time ago.
All right.
That's not the worst one I've seen.
Well, we saw the Ezekiel Himes one, right? So this was issue 2. This was sold out this week as well. It was a 2-issue adaptation of a series, so this might be the last time to get some heat on that issue 1, but 2 is sold out. This is a property that could be really interesting. Again, a media deal, as Larry brought up, would be interesting for Little Bird. This would be interesting for Ezekiel Himes as well from Amigo Comics.
Or Bitterroot.
Yeah, Sleeping Beauties. Sorry for the smaller copy on this, but this was the I think the 1 to 10 on Sleeping Beauties, and obviously we spoke about the SDC heating up. This one was sold out as well. Nancy in Hell, interesting property. I've shown this before. There's some really high ratio variant, tough to find Nancy in Hell books. Amigo Comics book again. Something that's back on the radar. I know they've been looking for a media deal for a while. Bloomhouse would make a lot of sense there. Now we're going to get into it. Let's get into this. All right, let's go full screen here a minute. So I think I told this story in my regular Comic DeSPECtive. I told you that sitting on the beach again, Cape Cod, social distancing, because we always want to keep that out there to our listeners.
Yeah.
And I get an email in the morning, and it must have come from overseas somewhere because it was like I sent it at a weird time. And it said, "Do you still want that Web of Venom Wraith one-shot book?" And I bought it back in April, and then I know, and it says it's because now it's bumped all the way back to September. Do you still want to wait for it? And I'm like, oh yeah, of course I do, because I paid I think $45 for it at the time, knowing it was going to be a big book. We've spoken about Wraith back and forth and what's going on with that character. And then I went right after, and I went right immediately because I can tell you the day I was there. So hold on, let's see if I can get this here. So I paid, what did I pay for it? $50, right? 50 or whatever the pounds equivalent was.
Nice job.
I went immediately on that day, and I saw, it's going for $99. It's going for $100. I don't know what it's going for now, but this is what it was going for at that time when I was still sitting on the beach at that time. And I'm like, so they basically want, they want to be able to double their sale, and me say, okay, I don't want to wait another month and a half. I've waited 5 months. So now, lo and behold, there's that cover, right? So the nice, and I saw the original art was for sale. In fact, I know one of our listeners was looking at the original art until he read the spoiler that just dropped. Did you read that spoiler, Nico? Did you hear about?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so here's what happened here. For those who don't know the story, somehow this got dropped, not through any surreptitious means, but Marvel actually dropped this book. People picked up on this book right away. I think it was pulled off, but not before sites got to it. So if you don't want this book spoiled, I would say you probably want to zip ahead 3 minutes from this point on, because we're going to talk about a book that's releasing September 8th. And I have some screenshots to show, and then I have a little conspecture. So maybe about 3 minutes you want to go forward. All right, so let's, I'm going to go full screen on this, Nico, just so we get a little better look. So, so we see Wraith. We know back in Guardians of the Galaxy, he got information from Star Fox. He's been able to hunt this stuff down. He sees this symbol that his father was working on in the lab. And the symbol has, sort of looks like a bullseye, but in the middle of where you see the bullseye, there are two dots, and two dots all around it. And he says, I don't know why Eros brought me here. That's Star Fox. Nothing here but questions, nothing but ghosts. All right. So this is where we go. So now I'm going to skip past all the action that happened, because I want you to be able to read that and see how they fight each other. But somehow at the end, Wraith ends up being stripped from his, the Exelons. He ends up being stripped from the parasites. And he says, and now I wait for the darkness to take me again, to take me back and back to dust into, and then all of a sudden we see this light, right? This stream of light come up. And then what do we see but that exact symbol he saw in his father's lab? And it says the shape, the one from my father's lab, the light, he saw it here. And with it, a voice singing and burning through the void. It calls the word, his name, and then for a moment, it's gone. And then now all of a sudden, Wraith sends himself to Eddie Brock, and he says, no, he has a shadow, an opposite. Hey, come back. A god of light. No, what? Uh-oh. All right. So you and I, we've spoken a lot about sort of, we've spoken about what we think the creation could be here. We've spoken about Galactus a little bit. We spoke about that Rogue Watcher that I know Larry sent me the other day, something on that Rogue Watcher.
I grabbed this for $10.
To me, what a great story.
40% off, though. Only at a 40% off sale. Sorry.
Well, and you and I continue to hype up like these oversized books, and there's going to be more appreciation for them as people figure out how to store them. But I started looking a little bit, and I started thinking of like, is there a Lord of Light? And the first Lord of Light I thought of was actually, it was the name of Cloak's father in way back in like whatever Marvel, whatever they introduced Marvel. Premiere Marvel Spotlight 1, 1 and 2. He was a low-level character. He was like a homicidal at the end. So I eliminated that off the spectrum. And I started to think a little bit. And I'm gonna go back to this kind of shot a minute. And I started to think about, oh, by the way, this is another Wraith variant that a lot of people may not know about. Perel, Amazing Spider-Man 14. So if Wraith spec does heat up, here's a really cheap buy right now. Perel, great art. Nice Wraith behind, right?
The best, dude. Love that guy.
So I started to think of this Doctor Strange, the Marvel Premiere 5. And this was, for those who don't know, this was where we actually saw the Vishanti appear. And the Vishanti are made up of all these three cosmic beings. And one of them is Oshtar the Omnipotent, who also goes by the Goddess of Dawn, the Bringer of Light. She's the one with the green and the emerald eye. She disappeared for a while, went off billions of years ago into the universe to explore while the other ones wanted to stay behind. But these three come together. They form the Vishanti, who Doctor Strange has been having a hard time getting in touch with lately. So I start to think a little bit about, oh, maybe this is the goddess, the counterpoint, someone who's been an elder god, right? And I think one thing I always speak about, I go back to this book so much, this Thor, Mighty Thor Annual 10, and it's not a super old book, but I think it's a book that's key in a couple of ways. One, it's first time Asgard was mapped out, and I just love that because I'm a big fan of maps and like going through that sort of stuff. But two, this is where we get the origin and the introduction of the Demiurge, who's been popping up all over the place. It's involved with Billy Kaplan, Wiccan over with Hulkling. We've seen it pop up throughout history. We've seen it connected to Chthon, who's connected to the Scarlet Witch and the Darkhold. But this is also this was a creation of the first, those elder gods, and there are different elder gods. These are the elder gods of Earth, right? So in this book, and I'm going to go really quick through this, we see, behold the planets as this one special planet until the energy becomes the demiurge, the sentient of the Earth's biosphere. This guy creates all these elder gods. So we see Chthon, who's like from the underworld, Gaia of Earth, Set, who you've heard of with the serpents, right? Who I keep bringing up the serpent crown over and over again. And then what we have is we see that all of a sudden this creation of the demiurge, this sort of birthed out this atom. And this is a sort of, again, a being of light, of pure light that's contained. But this being of light has a darker side that also becomes this thing called the demigorge, or the God Eater, which is also known. So now we see this light and dark back and forth. This thing eats all the gods, disappears, merges with the sun after creating all these elder gods. So again, looking at all these things that Donny Cates could have been involved in back in the day, I think it's really important to start looking at some of those older books again and again. And when I look at this Thor Annual 10, and again, he's like, whatever your destiny may be, I'll come back. I started to look then a little deeper, and I looked at Carnage, and I went through these Carnage books, and I found out about these Darkholders who are into the book of Darkhold. And then I went into Mystic Arcana, which was a whole thing about the Darkhold. And all of a sudden I saw in this, they bring up the goddess Ashtor had a fascination again with what lay beyond Earth, and she was later known as Bright Lady Dawn, goddess of the stars. She was seeking out things that happened in the universe. At the same time, Chthon, who created the Darkhold book, came together. So I've seen a lot of these sort of elder gods pop up again and again. It can't hurt to be holding on to this, even though they're not connected to Null directly. Marvel is doing something with elder gods, and they just brought it up again, I think, in the Avengers Free Comic Book Day about elder gods of the Earth. So keep an eye out on them. They brought it up a lot. Again, I'm wondering who the Lord of Light's going to be. I know that symbol, I have no idea, Nico. It's something that I've tried to picture in my head. I was like, did a Celestial perhaps have that? But this is something with a round circle, 2 dots, 2 dots, 2 dots. Someone brought up Starbrand. I don't think it's going to be the Starbrand. I hate what they're doing with Jason Aaron and the Starbrand baby. But just some things to think about. And let's see, is that my last slide for that particular thing before? Just a book you can use to further research. I know Topher is a big fan of this. Our friend Topher on CBSI, Encyclopedia Mythologica, tough book to find, but everything you want to know. If you want to know a little more about these elder gods and other ones that and really research it and use what the creators use, this is definitely a book they use. And I even went back and looked at that Silver Surfer Black again to think if maybe the Silver Surfer, because they kept talking about him being a balance of dark and light, maybe he was the one who actually went back and created. Maybe it was one of those egg in the chicken where the Silver Surfer was created as a being of light. He actually went back and helped create Galactus. So there was all this sort of this craziness rolling on in my head. But so now I'm going to be stuck for a month and a half thinking about who this Lord of Light is, because we're going to get nothing on it, but people will be researching in the interim. So just books to keep an eye out on. I wanted to throw some of that out there before I move on to some like some key spec that I think is going to be coming up in the next few weeks. And this, we saw another Web of Venom book, and they're even tying into Empire. This was one of the covers released. So are they going to burn out Null? I'm pretty sure they are, right? Because before he gets to a movie, like people are like, Christian Bale is Null again. We're back on that wagon again. I don't know, Nico. Yeah, that eye roll is replicated by me over and over again.
It's adorable. I feel for them. And you know, I just hope they don't get so jaded by comics when they get hammered on that shit that they stop collecting. So
I'm holding on to those covers forever. Two other really books off that to think about. Thor 349. There's a reason. This was the first like sort of the Odin forces in here. Donnie keeps bringing up the Ravens again, Huggin and Muggin. I know the brothers are connected in here. They just reprinted this book as well, like I said. So the Brothers of Odin, issue 349. Maybe it's because they had all that stuff going on over in the Valkyrie book, Jane Foster, along with his older brother. But I think a really interesting book to look at is Mighty Thor 12. And why this is interesting is because right after the Black Winter series is over, Mjolnir's acting up. And this is a story of sort of the creation and formation of Mjolnir and exactly what they took and created and how they used this star to create Mjolnir. Here's a little sneaky book to look for. Really cheap. I'm buying them up $2 a pop. Mighty Thor 12, and you get some beautiful. Because
wait, you mean the Necro Sword being a $50 book and $1,000 variant? You wouldn't want to have the origin story of Mjolnir?
The untold origin of Mjolnir, and again, you get this whole, and it ties into, again, old Thor has some beautiful art in there as well, and how it's created, and I think Mighty Thor 12. Keep an eye on it. Again, one of those books. I think the biggest problem I always hear about my spec is that I do it 6 months before the book comes out, and then by then people forget they had the book, and then all of a sudden it's new spec somewhere else. But anyway, did you read, before I go to the next thing, did you read Empire at all? Are you reading Empire, Nico?
No, you know what turned me off was the first print and the second print of issue number 1 came out on the same day, and I was just like, not going to participate.
Yeah. So
I might go pick up the trade if you told me it's good.
Yeah. So again, Avengers Celestial Quest, the book I brought up, this ends up being a really key series because it turns out that, of course, the bad guys are indeed the Katati, the plant people. We just saw it in X-Men, in the X-Men Empire issue, and this, of course, was that first appearance of the Celestial Messiah, issue 3. But I think the whole series is worth grabbing anyway, because it tells the Swordsman who's in there, Mantis who's popping back up again. So grab this. Great Steve Englehart writing. Why I think that's important is because in the X-Men book, and the one coming out this week, they have a portal on the moon. The X-Men are now all the dead of Genosha have been risen up by the plant people, so they're plant zombies as well.
Interesting.
You may see some stuff pop up back with that Excalibur 15 book again. And for people who just forget, I'm not going to go, spend a lot of time because, again, I would not spend anything more than a couple bucks on this book. And this book, got up for a while and then came back down. And the reason it came up was because of the pink things that looked like the eggs that could have been the one of the mutants are coming out of. But it does tell us about sort of the mutant the mutants being connected to vegetation, the Vegeman, and sort of maybe there's a connection in there. This was Son of Krakoa, first appearance. Again, $2 books, but it may pop up again. Just something to keep an eye on. Another book. So now let's start looking at some books that are coming out, some solicits we've seen, Nico. Immortal Hulk, you still reading it, yes or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Gave up about issue 25.
Yeah, you're not alone in it. I think a lot of people thought it was going to end with 25. And some of the heat, it dies, and you would think all the heat dies off, but when then you go back and look at some of those earlier issues, they're selling for some big money. People are still putting a lot of money into that Dr. Fry, who should be coming back. The Leader just came back. They're about to print out a couple of books that have been on the radar for a while from the Hulk, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did this as a TV show with Mark Ruffalo, to be perfectly honest. It won't be the same version, but it'll be a version. That would not shock me at all.
Would be amazing. Well, the way when they say it and get that real horror vibe and almost and use almost that old, like the Robert Banner,
exactly,
going from town to town and bringing that he comes to life at night, right? Like that's a really I like that, cool, Nico. So we spoke about this.
I did buy one of those for $1 the other day, maybe yesterday.
These the Devil Hulks, right? Like cheap buys, like buying them forever. Issue 13. He's on the cover of this, fighting the Green Scar as well. These were also key issues for that. 27, issue 28, a lot with the Devil Hulk. What went on? I spoke about the 619, 620 of the of that whole Hulk series with the first Green Door. And now we see that they're printing two things. One, the reprint of the Hulk -1, which there are actually, there is a cool, I don't know if you've seen this, everyone's seen this cover. There's actually also a variant for that one as well, which I don't know if a lot of people have seen that one, but this sort of retcons the story of Bruce Banner's dad. That's going to be a major part of the storyline as we come down to the end. What's going on with the father? Obviously, last issue, the Leader and the father teamed up together. That's going to be sort of key, I think, down the line. So what I did was I also looked in the top corner, and I actually reached out to Nick from Key Collector, your and my sometime.
My buddy. That's my buddy.
He's our frenemy.
He's my friend.
So we here. He's been chained. He's been suppressed. He doesn't know if he's real, but something is reaching through the Green Door. It wants to hurt Bruce Banner, and when you hurt Banner, the Devil Hulk takes it personally. So Those issue 13s probably going to heat up a little bit again. There's a spoiler variant cover by Joe Bennett that we haven't seen yet. But the characters I was interested in on the bottom, or on the top corner, were these guys.
Oh boy, here we go.
So I love this series. Did you read the Crossroads, the whole Crossroads series, Nico, back in the day? So this is where he's been banished. He's in this crossroads. He's going from world to world. Issue 312.
Maybe I did. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You don't have to apologize, Nico. This is a back and forth show. So Hulk 312, first Banner, right? First father of Bruce Banner, right? So they're going to have this and Hulk -1 in there. I went back and read through this book again, and we see the dad, the wife is being born, and we see him like he turns into that like blue demon character. We see a star on the Christmas tree, and then we see him holding this stuffed animal in this middle panel where the father is showing that he's really upset. Again, all out of that issue 312. Keep going, and all of a sudden we see those three characters sort of like protectors over him. So we see this woman here standing over the demon again, the star, we see that. These three characters actually play a big part in the book later on. They become this sort of triad, right? They become Goblin, they become Guardian, and they become Glow, and they all turn out to be personas or entities of the Hulk at that time to help sort of protect him. What happened with the father? So these were a big part of that Crossroads series. Their first appearance was actually in Hulk 308, and these, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is one of the great Mike Mignola when he was doing the art back at the time for those covers as well. So 308, first appearance of that triad. I reached out to Nick. He gives credit when credit's due. First appearance of triad manifestations of Bruce Banner, Psyche, Goblin, Glow, Guardian. They're popping up in that upcoming Hulk again. You might want to look out for those issues. Again, he had them going for a high of $5, right? So books to look for. This is what I always want you to find. Find those books.
Dude, my buddy was shop in Pittsburgh and was trying to buy a book, and they used the Key Collector app to price the book. I fucking laughed so goddamn hard. I'm like, Nick just sort of throws those out there as kind of like, hey, look here. Are you guys? People are either
there's zero. I'll go by that price guide because when they have no price yet, I'm officially down with that. So,
oh, dude, it was amazing. I was just like,
so that's another book that I'm loving, Nico. So let's see what else we have here. Okay. So now let's go to the rumor mill. Breaking: Donald Glover is returning as Lando Calrissian for his own Disney Plus series.
He's got photo variant covers in #1. They're worth absolutely nothing. I remember when I started getting into Star Wars, I was like, hey, look, this is cool. Oh, it's a $1 book. Whoops.
Yeah. So these are the 1 to 25 Joe Quinones. And again, that's the Donald Glover, pretty much him looking exactly like he looks on the Lando Double or Nothing, 1 to 25. Not a big printed book at the time. And then I also love the issue 5 Brian Steelfreeze cover, Double or Nothing, with him just blowing on the gun.
Is that a ratio?
This was a 1 to 25 as well.
That's a gorgeous one, buddy.
And that's issue 5. So again, rumor mill, but finding cheap copies of books that may sit around. Star Wars books, they never stay cheap for long, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do a Star Wars episode, dude. If we don't, I just need to do it so I can stop buying them.
My stack is getting bigger and bigger, but I can't pronounce half the names, Nico. I need help.
Same.
All right, another rumor mill.
We're doing a show about that too on the flip side. Enforcer, my friend, with Mike Morello, our other buddy. I think you're friends with Mike. And then don't forget about Solo Wookiee. He's a stud. It's going to be sweet on the Flipside channel.
Please don't hype up your other shows on other channannels. I don't see any advertising down on our page at all. Well, StreamYard up there, but or up there.
Yeah. Major advertising. Major.
So what about this one? Illuminati, right? Did you see this one? And who broke it?
So
Illuminati broke it.
So, okay, let's talk about that. People are very excited about it, and that's nice if you're trying to sell these books to other people. But for the love of Christ, I have zero confidence that the outfits that have propagated this kind of stuff have any validity. In fact, I'm actually I was disheartened to see my buddy Daniel RPK repeat the rumor because he's traditionally pretty reliable. So Now, I hope that I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is like a thing that happens and it's cool. But I know where the rumor originated from, and I just don't have a lot of faith in that person because I find their rumors and reports to be more like conjecture and innuendo drawn from a Wikipedia account that is sometimes occasionally correct, but not the product of insider information.
And I call it sort of the human centipede effect of social media, where there's one inside another, and I used to take all the article screenshots, and then it would all go back to the original bad source, would be quoted like we got it covered or blah blah blah. I'm just using general ones. Please don't sue us. We got it covered because you're a respectable news comic journalism source. But again, we go back to Nico. Do we report the weather or do we make the weather?
Oh.
Again, you know that. And so my question is, if that's a thing, are you taking advantage if you're whipping out all of your Avengers books, right? Like, because we've been buying these Illuminati books forever. Avengers 7, I love that. That's the great cover, right? The Century cover, which is a great cover anyway.
I got one around here. I think I bought one yesterday.
So if I'm putting these up, am I like, and saying, okay, that's a source that is questionable, like, how should we feel about that sort of thing? That's what I'm always sort of in mind. And by the way, there's a like Illuminati one shot, right? And who says it's going to be this Illuminati? And of course, the Illuminati series. There's a lot of different stuff out there. There are some great variants I've shown in the past as well. In fact, I think I'm going to show them on our other show. But it makes me question again. Perception becomes reality very quickly in comic speculation, and we have a responsibility, and that's going to make a great segue, Nico. I think I'm going to bring us to here. Hold on one sec. Let me go back to. I'm doing a really good job on this today, so I'm going to screw it up any minute. Before I do that, I just showed this before I came in. Lee Bermejo, Justice League Dark variant, talking about those low print variants again.
Lord of mercy, that is gorgeous.
Yeah. Lee Bermejo, so underrated, beautiful art. And this series, I'm telling you, if you're not reading it, great series. Swamp Thing has been sort of revitalized again, reinvented. We're seeing a lot with Zatanna going on in that book as well. So watch that book. Upside Down Man just came back. Interesting concepts. And my boy, Ram V from These Savage Shores is writing it now. So he has great things in store. I've been in touch with him back and forth on social media. What a great book to be reading, but I love that Bermejo cover. Gorgeous.
What is that?
And this just came out. This is on Twitter, so I think it's going to be three issues away. I brought this up just really briefly. Ninjak always has its big fans, right? These are cheap slabs. Bloodshot 6, right? You can get these for really cheap. Ninjak was always the most interesting concept and character to me of all of them. The sort of this spy who was a ninja. Like, that's ready-made. I mean, you screwed up Bloodshot. Try not to screw up Ninjak, right? And the reason I bring that up is because Javier Pulido and Jeff Parker, they have exciting stuff planned based on what I've seen on previews on that. So just keep an eye out on those and issues.
Am I the only person that liked the Bloodshot movie? I love that movie.
Yeah, Nico, I put your taste slightly above the guy you used to work with. But anyway, issue 6 was the first Colin King. Issue 7 was the first Ninjak in full costume. I think issue 6 is normally considered the tougher one, but they still.
Aren't there some super tough variants for that? Like there were for Bloodshot, not that particular issue, just Ninjak generally, like. Yeah, super tough ones.
There are, and I actually collected a lot of the ones with, I think it was Ninja G. She was a 1970s, like, African-American ninja that I have some, those are gorgeous. I know Mel and I have a lot of those. So if they ever, like, have a series going, they could definitely do, like, jump through the eras. It's a great concept, but something that I think is still a far way off. But again, new series coming out, and it's Valiant Spec, so you know where it lies. This is apparently a Star Wars guy, and he and another Star Wars guy are going to be in something coming out. And I think one of them was first in the Star Wars 42 with Boba Fett. So I'm going to keep going until we do our Star Wars show. Robin King. Yay or nay on the Robin King stuff, Nico? What do you think of this guy?
Yeah, I mean,
Riley Rossmo cover.
I love the artist. Love him. I'm not super excited about the Batman Who Laughs, again, because I don't see a lot of live action potential. That book has been going.
Are you reading this one or no?
I'll read this.
Okay.
For sure.
So,
but dude, if Riley's drawing it, I'll read anything. I don't care if it's Bedlam or Cowboy Ninja Viking or whatever.
Well, he did that cover, right? And is he doing the art in the sequential?
I don't know. I don't know if he's doing the sequential or not. I hope so.
Because he, like I said, it's the Batman Who Laughs. He in the last issue or 2 issues ago he died, and then he came back as the Darkest Night. I think that's his new thing now. So really, they're really taking these puns to the end. I'm more interested in this back character that we see. We got a little news on this week. You know who that is over there?
I do not.
So
is that number Batman 18 or something? 28? 38?
Yeah, so let me see. Do I have let's see, do I have the so Batman 28.
28. Yeah, 28.
So first of all, I always like that cover. Secret Glimpse into Batman Eternal. This was Harper Row, right? Harper Row, who was then trained by Batman to be what's her name? Bluebird? Bluebird, is that it?
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think it's Bluebird. So these James Tynion creations, remember, Batman, the Batman Eternal was written by James Tynion and Scott Snyder. A lot of these sort of things he came up with, like we just saw Talon, one of the Talons come back, right? The Lincoln March just came back and got his ass beaten in the last issue of the Joker War. So this is a character that we see that she's going to play a major role. It's going to be Cassandra Cain. It's going to be this character, and I think it's going to be maybe the original one of the Robins. I think is going to play. But in this, those are the 3 major characters. I think this is the one with the most possible potential down the line. He keeps bringing up she was always supposed to be a Robin, but never got the opportunity to be Robin. I'd be looking for these. You can still find these slabs pretty cheap. There's a variant cover as well. It's steampunk. Right. I like the steampunk, really.
So I talked a little bit about my trip to Half Price Books the last time or on my interview show with Errol Molnar, and how I saw a Thor 5 at Half Price Books. Somebody had already turned it in. They'd already marked it up. I don't even think issue 6 had come out. Here's the second observation I made from there. That book was the only book that was missing from the New 52 run.
Wow.
Right? So somebody had gone in
and pulled
and they pulled that one issue out.
Yeah.
They left the Thor 5 at $13 or something, or turned in all of their crap at $13 to pull that out. But it's a cool book. I was looking for it yesterday.
Yeah, I would say again, that's a run in, and that Snyder run's tough to find. You can't, it's not everywhere. So here's, I titled so I want to jump for a minute. So I titled this from the Soapbox to the Long Box.
I already talked to somebody about this morning. My disappointment grows.
And I don't want to go so much into it, but basically Tom King, Dynamite had got into a lot of issue. I'm not going to get in. We're not going to get into deep politics and Comicsgate here and cancel culture.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Comicsgate is a movement that is seen as a hate group, and Ethan Van Sciver's name is thrown out, and he has big followings. And again, Dynamite Comics apparently got into bed with a variant cover, and then they went back on it, and then they brought out earlier tweets and saying, they always knew about this. But Tom King came out and then said a cover had come out, a Jay Lee cover, and I'm going to show this Jay Lee cover. This Jay Lee cover came out for Rorschach, and which is the Black Label book. Tom King,
an alarming cover too.
Just like, and then he said, today DC put out an alternate cover by Jay Lee, who has also done covers for Comicsgate, a hate group. Now, again, it doesn't matter if we're doing these covers way back, and I just showed one of his covers on the that Sacred 6 book that I love as well, that I just read. Jay Lee is so far removed from social media, he didn't even know Comicsgate existed. He doesn't know about all this going on.
For the record, I love that dude right now. For him being like, I'm not on Twitter. What is that Twitter?
And you know what? My boy, Joseph Illich, who took over at Heavy Metal Press over there, he went on and he called Tom King. He put him to task and said, how about all those people who throw people under buses, then now come back and give a mea culpa after the fact? So again,
it wasn't really a good mea culpa. He wasn't like, I apologize, I'm sorry.
That's not an apology. then he came out again and said, I got it. Someone got me in touch with Jla. All good now. So again, it's like, okay, put it out there, but there's so many people who then came out and said, well, why didn't you research it more? Driving me crazy. I didn't
want to beat a dead horse, but for the record, that's your CIA. Your intelligence officer.
There's your government hours at work. You see this one yet? This is nice.
Sweet. It's a shame. I was reading this series and the prices got so high. I was just like, fuck this, and dumped them. And it's continued to be good. I'll pick up this and continue to read it and trade. When it doesn't immediately go to television, like the 100 millionths of series, I'll buy back in unless it becomes shoe. And it's a $600 9.8. I don't think it will because of all the goofy variants and printings that they did, which I think is tragic and insane. But I love what the creative team is doing with this book. It's one of the few titles that I'm tempted to pick up every single month just to read. But we'll definitely read in trade. It's been very good, and they continue to impress.
Yeah, and that was Christian Ward, who won an Eisner as well for his digital cover art. And I think Emma Rios won for best overall cover artist, which really blew my mind. I mean, I like her work, Pretty Deadly, but that blew my mind with some of the artists out there. But here's what it was going from one site. I saw it today, $90, 1 to 25 for issue 1. Yeah.
Lord of mercy.
Yeah, and that's a store that I look at that normally is pretty in tune with where everyone else is. And guys, sorry for the comments. I don't know what's going on. I see the new comments arrow, but I'm not seeing new chat on there, so I'm not ignoring you. I try to.
Yeah, and you send me the link, so it's hard. I can't see I can't see the comments either. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
forgive us for our non-responsiveness.
Yeah, so we're usually just non-responsive to one another. I did see someone actually say though about this Bitterroot Akira ready to go to CGC. Someone just sent me the other day another great Akira variant cover. Those Akira covers I love. Whenever I see an Akira cover, just like that great motorcycle leaned over.
Yeah, the sad part is I think they're going to beat it into the ground. That I saw another somebody else just copied it too. Did you see that?
Yes, and that's the one I just bought a couple of copies of. And I love.
What the hell is it?
I love the cover, and I can't think of it right now. I'll see in the interim while maybe one of us.
Yeah, I hope they don't turn that into Hulk 181 or any numbers, because I got a soft spot for Akira. For the record, now's the time to be buying Akira books.
Yeah. Again, I would say. I think a lot of people are intimidated by any books that have any kind of connection to any Japanese animation, anime, manga, like anything from Lone Wolf to Akira to a lot of the stuff that's created, because they're like, oh, where do I start? What do I do? Where do I go? Look for the American versions when companies like Boom and IDW and other companies start to put the stuff out, because they're gonna pull the best stuff and put it in some sort of coherent order for you, right? Don't go investing in those books necessarily early on. All right, so going back, let's keep jumping, Nico, because I'm running tight on my time here.
So quick, sorry,
you got to drive. All right, so Last Ronin. Sophie Campbell cover. I like this Sophie Campbell cover. This is issue 2. This is one of the retail incentives. I always love a black and white cover. I'm curious how this book is going to do. I'm curious where we're heading with that book. But I'm still a little bullish. Would that be the term on that? Am I bullish?
Yeah.
It means, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you are. Did you see this one?
Hold on one sec, Nico. Let me go. Who did that one?
It's a damn store variant. It's already sold out. I'd love to have got it. I think it's beautiful with the 3 ghosts, the spirits behind.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't seen that one, and like I said, there are a few. I'm not jumping in crazy on any variants, but I did like that Last Ronin. I always like to highlight an artist or two. I've spoken about Christina Khalida. She does a lot of stuff for Boom Books. And I just want to show, this is some of the art she's been doing original art of. And if you think that we're not going to see a lot more of her stuff soon, you'd be
beautiful, man.
Yeah, just gorgeous work. Just the coloring, so again, her name is, I want to give her Christina Khalida. She's doing a lot of Boom Books right now. Start to look for some of her books. They're cheap. Buy them up, because you never know who, when they start getting sick of one, they move on to the next. All right, let's keep going. Speed round here, Nico. Falcon. Okay, so I looked through some solicits. In the background here, Falcon and Winter Soldier, we see the Natural popping up again. Natural popped up in that issue 1. I do want to talk a little bit for a second about my boy Sam Wilson. The only reason I want to talk about Sam Wilson is because I continue to think that these are probably cheap books, right?
Yeah, they're all the I'm bullish on all this crap right now. Not that I'm some giant Falcon fan or even Winter Soldier fan. I feel like they've really underutilized that character, but there's going to be that week after week bleed on Disney Plus. You're going to see the prices of those books build if you're trying to flip them. Now's the time to buy them cheap.
Yeah, now it's time to grab these up.
And there's some cool ratios of that book as well.
And I didn't dig, like I said, but also the Captain America and the Mighty Avengers, the Al Ewing book, which is has some great ratio variants, and that's the Captain America leading that Avengers team. Definitely one to look out for as well. Sorry, I have to decline that call.
I like your dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah, that's my moment of zen always. All right, let's keep blessing. So Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel Boy, they keep pushing this character. I've been reading Al Ewing. This book is it's very trippy. I don't know if Al Ewing's take on Guardians is going to be for everybody. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, we see. There's Ultimatum, right, in his new costume. It's Clone Wars all over again, but they're parallel.
Dude, I love the other cover of that with the baby.
That gorgeous cover. And I don't have that up because I only pulled off that's on my.
Is the baby a ratio?
I thought that was just a regular. I don't think
it was solicited as a ratio, and then I think COVID happened, and then it wasn't going to be a ratio, and I don't know what the hell's going on. But I like the baby cover.
That's him swimming. Is that a Raza cover? Him swimming with that baby, right? I think so.
I think that's right.
I've spoken about again. This is Art Adams for the Rise of Ultraman 2. We saw the Alex Ross covers on that. I'm going to keep reminding you, probably last chance to get that book, the Ultraman, the one in the poly bag, and then some of the other cool like variants in the line. And this was, I think, this was -1. But this is the one you really want to get. This is really this will be considered that first appearance, bagged out. Ultraman 1 Virgin cover edition. So again, that's a book that Marvel is really pushing, and if they're pushing them, Disney Plus, Ultraman, it's going to be coming down the line. We're going to see it. Yeah, I know. So I talked a little about
a shitty cartoon that never comes out too.
Yeah, that could be it too. 10 of Swords, really quick, just to blast through this. We're seeing more on the Rom, the Space Knights. You can't have Rom and Marvel, but the Light of Galador. Cable does have that sword, so you're going to see more of the Space Knight stuff explored. Pick Rom stuff up now, Dire Wraith stuff. There's a cover of him on the regular cover with him he's dating all of the Stepford Cuckoos, but he's holding that sword again. And then we saw my least favorite concept, and I'm a big X-Men fan. The Externals are back in Excalibur, the High Lords. There were 9 of them, or 10 if you count Cannonball. All right, next. Love this cover. This is DeLuis, Matteo DeLuis. This is the horror cover they're doing for Halloween. I think it's Iron Man Thing. Great cover, great artist. Iron Man, people are getting excited about again. They're coming back to the old school, the old stuff with Iron Man. Basically, they're bringing back like Hellcat, and they're bringing back Korvac and Iron Man as well. So they're going back to the beginning again. Matteo DeLuis, that's how you say his name up top. Keep going through. I'm not going to go into the Outlawed 1 to 50 variant, but crazy numbers, right? 1 to 50 on 27,000 print run. I think that was from our friends at Cover Price, maybe, or one of those places.
Hold on. What is it?
That's that cover that you love, the locker cover. Yeah. Do you have that one, Nico? Oh, just
got it back from my presser.
We didn't set that up, did we? Let me just go bigger a minute on that. Let's show that one more time so people can see that. So it's the 3 of them, front and central. I know one of our friends who's been on here before is a big fan of this book and was promoting it heavily. Hopefully you got your copies because they are going boo-boo bananas.
But hey, for the record, mine's going to CGC, hopefully Monday, maybe Tuesday, and then it's going to be on eBay and out the door.
Yeah, and as far as I'm aware, there are no new characters in there. But again,
it's a good-looking cover. Yeah. But like, dude, a $500 raw copy sold. I don't know what a 9.8. That's going to be a 9.8 is going to sell for. but I'll take that money in a heartbeat.
Take the money and run on it. Captain Marvel. People buying that. Please don't buy Ronan. Whatever she's the new. What is Ronan's thing? What is he called? The Accuser. Don't buy Accuser spec, because already we know that she's going to the future again. Brand new villains and heroes. Yet another Kelly Thompson. Isn't that how they started out, going to the future? So now they're back. New stuff coming out again. New. I mean, it's driving me crazy. Shang-Chi spec. Really quick. Issue 2. We see this character, Sister Hammer. Who knows, with the movie on the way, with things coming out that way, you never know. So probably issue 1, we'll see an end of book reveal, but Sister Hammer is her name. She's on the cover. At first, I thought her leg was his arm coming out, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
It looks like Rob Liefeld drew it.
Yeah, it's not. And I think it's Philip Tan.
Claw feet for Philip Tan. His finest work. I usually like Tan too.
Strange Academy, book that continues to keep on chugging on, making some money. All those first appearances, even though there are none in issue 2. The #1 second print went off. In this one, they're going to be finding doors that take them to different worlds, including Weird World. I've been talking about Weird World a long time. That Marvel Premiere 38. Watch that. That's going to be something Marvel's going to develop. If they ever do go for a series, you can buy those books on the cheap. Warhammer. Marvel is announcing this, the first book that's coming out, and again, I don't know Warhammer. This is not my thing. I don't know if it's a role-playing, a video game, but what I do know is that's the variant cover, and I also know that these were some of the books that we spoke about a little bit, Nico, about picking these up before those come out, right? Like grab this. There's a variant for this one. Oh yeah, there it is. There's also like that gray variant one. And then this was something like a 0 that was a freebie or something. But grab these books. I mean, you can still get them. You can find these. We want to make you money, right? We don't want you to spend money on these books after they've done something. We want to make
I'm trying to help you get those books that you're like, I can never afford that.
All right, let's so Deadpool, we're gonna see something going on with the Bloodstone gem again. Just like Mjolnir, something's wrong with the Bloodstone gem. Maybe everything mystical is failing. Maybe it's something to do with Doctor Strange stuff. Maybe it's something to do with Strange Academy. But there was a Bloodstone one-shot that we just saw recently. We saw the whole history of the Bloodstone with her dad, Ulysses Bloodstone. He goes way back to the 70s. Elsa Bloodstone has that series. She's been in Deadpool. Okay, Thor time. Cover revealed for Thor. Apparently this is some sort of quasi-connecting cover. With the Venom cover where he's eating and drinking the sundae. I think Nick from Key Collector posted that. Maybe he found it out, but I don't know. They're sitting at diner tables. And this is what everyone gets a hammer. That's right. Come down to Broxton, pick up Mjolnir for yourself. Issue before, he's having the trouble. I showed that Mighty Thor book. What would an episode be without us talking about Black Winter? They're going to make this one really quick, Nico. Here's another thing to knock off that's not the Black Winter. The 5 planets of death. I saw this Where Past the Black Stars. I started thinking about that God of Light again. I looked through this whole book.
It's concentric circles. It must in fact be.
I was looking. Look at this. I saw this, Nico, for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. We're just 1 planet short of me having that round with the 6 planets on there. But the black stars were all these planets that connected. They fed off other planets. One left. Has nothing to do with Black Winter. Please don't buy that spec. It means absolutely nothing. Black Stars, Black Winter, separate, even though they both popped up. But what may be of interest is we saw Donny Cates talking about that crossover book, which some people thought would be a stealth Marvel Image DC thing going on. It looks like it might not quite be that. It's about a crossover of stuff within Donny Cates' world. But we still do have those Easter eggs popping up, like that Justice League Easter egg in the Black Winter. And I got to thinking about that book that first time they came together. And now I'm thinking about these books a little bit. I'm thinking about these Marvel, DC, right? This Marvel versus DC. I'm also thinking about the Jla Avengers. And in this Jla Avengers, there was a character in there. And that character ended up looking like this by the end. And he was the name of Entropy. Entropy looks like this. Entropy looks a little bit like that Oblivion we spoke about, right, Nico? But again, Entropy will devour you all. Oh, these sort of things that keep popping up. Even DC has their equivalent. Entropy used to be this character, Krona, who was masters of going through the multiverses. Oh, so again, interesting stuff, but none of this is new. You and I spoke about it. It's the same concept. It doesn't mean run out and buy these books, but when you find cheap books like that in first Krona and Entropy and books like that, sometimes it's worth $1 because dollar books become $30 books. Paper Girls, we talked about it briefly. It was brought to series, so that book should be selling. Did you watch this at all?
Don't even know what that is.
Okay. What is it? Frank Miller graphic novel, Cursed.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
On Netflix right now. I put it somewhere in between Witcher and if you don't know what the the book looked like, here's the actual book, Cursed. Put it somewhere between The Witcher, which I thought was really bargain basement, and Warrior Nun, which I really thought was great. The main problem is that main character we saw, she's a little like bland, and when you don't have a great protagonist, but it's all about the King Arthur legend. Again, these are the books that tend to sell. I'll See Your Dad, when they came out with that Hemsworth movie, right? That started to sell, so that's something to look at. Okay,
here's $100 graphic novels for crying out loud.
So here's where maybe some money might be made here. Let's check this out, Nico. So in the thing, Amazing Spider-Man 51, there's going to be a 51 LR. Spider-Man loves to do these little bonus books, and in that 51 book, we're seeing this Order of the Web. Order of the Web is made up of Spider-Gwen. It's made up of Silk. It's made up of Miles Morales. It's made up of Spider-Woman. And it's made up of, who I want to talk a little more about, Spider-Girl. Do you know who is currently under the Spider-Girl costume, Nico?
Mayday Parker?
Close. She was it in that Spider-Girl book, right? Let's dig deeper, because if you don't know, chances are others don't know. So we see they're doing a one-shot on this Order of the Web. We see they're going to come together to help Spider-Man deal with Kindred. There's another one of the covers. Again, you see all of them on the cover. There's that Spider-Girl on the front again. So that character, 637.
No shit.
This issue, and I was talking to one of our other friends, and I would love to do a new feature called Second Firsts. And what I think about that feature is you get first appearance of characters, they can blow up, but then they take on a new identity, sort of like Ronin has done, sort of like on what we're going to see this next character do. And this next character,
Nightwing.
Her first appearance was way back. And hold on one sec. I'm gonna bring this. Was in the Amazing Fantasy 1, the Aranya cover. So in Amazing Spider-Man 637, which is the end of the whole sort of Grim Hunt, and there's one of the variants, and there's the really.
Hold on, buddy. We gotta go. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Let's go back that way. So there's the second print variant on a smaller scale. There's a regular cover. There is B
cover.
Yep. There's the B cover.
B.
And there is the second print. That's really tough to find, right? And the reason why this book is important is not only is it the introduction of Madam Web, it's where our friend we've spoken about before, Julia Carpenter, gives up her Spider-Woman costume and gives it to Aranya, and Aranya becomes Spider-Girl. She has a couple great variants. This is Spider-Verse 3, Phil Noto variant. That whole series actually had great variants, including a Spider-Gwen one, and also a Spider-Man Noir. But here's what happens in that Grim Hunt book. So first time we see her wearing the costume here, cool. Spider-Man. First time we see Madam Web, the new Madam Web, who we talked about with Sony, wielding her powers and saying, I have this new power. Yeah.
This really sounds like it's going to be the plot of maybe, I don't know, something.
Could there be something where they have a character that
would be like Craven and
could that
Madam Web
and spin off into and again, it's where we sort of see Spider-Girl becomes Spider-Girl here. And I know there's another book. First of all, this is the only Young Allies book that anyone has ever chased to this point. Do you know what I saw this book going for the other day? I don't know if I put it on here, Nico. Let's
like $500.
Yeah, it was ended at $420.
Hey, for the record, I might pay $420 for that thing, man. I've spent worse money on worse decisions, like ex-girlfriends. I love that cover.
That is it. It's a beauty, and it's such a weird variant, Nico.
I feel like a Tim Seeley vibe, or like Tim.
Bruce Tim
vibe. It's just, I mean, Art Adams
Adams headlights.
Greatest.
Right. If you don't know, Art Adams did a lot of Budroot Cave Woman stuff where it was a lot of headlight art, and that's what this sort of is. And it's such a weird variant because they actually didn't have variant covers for 2, 3, 4, or 5, and then all of a sudden 6, they popped this out. And so this was the only Young Allies people used to chase after. And again, I think it really should be only chased after. There is this issue 5. It's where she actually does say at this point, like Anya Corazon Spider-Girl, it's where she accepts it and comes to terms with it. But I would still be chasing the Amazing Spider-Man 637 second print. First Anya Corazon as Spider-Girl.
Because you can theoretically find one of those in a back issue bin. You got no shot of finding that Young Allies variant anywhere but eBay.
Yeah, and that issue 5 is just a regular cover that you can find in a dollar bin for sure.
Sure.
And here's the other variant. This was for the Mike Del Mundo Big Time Spider Girl. This was a variant, so she has 2 nice variants to chase after as well. That character could end up popping up and being major when we see this. Gonna wrap it up with a little bit of so Fantastic Four. We saw this Mark Brooks cover, and I spoke a little bit about this. Let's see, do I have that cover? Yeah. Again, this was something that I made it a point to sort of read because I think that this cover is probably going to be end up of the whole sort of event being the cover to chase. And the reason for that is because this is the introduction of these 2 characters on this cover, the Chronicle and the Requiem. They are the Kree and Skrull who now hold all the history of their people within themselves. They've been forced to battle each other throughout time with that character who I think was sort of like almost a red herring in that issue. People were chasing the new sort of elder or the Games Master's sister, when really these 2 characters made their first appearance. They're coming back. There's a status quo change going in Fantastic Four. We know Fantastic Four spec is hard to chase anyway. This was from 1 to 50 of the introduction, Fantastic Four Empire 0. And that's where they were both full.
The hard part about FF is that the only people that collect it have the money to buy whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, that's it's funny you say that because I bring up as well in that I'm like Fantastic Four spec always seems to be a dead end, but and there's another cover that we see coming up in this. So they're going to be not only on the cover of the Fantastic Four, those 2, they're on the cover of Empire Fantastic Four, maybe a new Fantastic Four. You see Valerie and Franklin are wearing the V and the F. Maybe it's going to be a new group and those 2 will be a part of it. I wrote about this back in July 20th. Nikala and Joven are their names. And I said, much is made ado, that 1 to 50 cover you want to chase. Yeah. Talking about Fantastic Four spec, remember everyone was chasing like this new villain was going to come out in that Dan Slott book, but there is still a character from that run that I think is interesting, and we've spoken about her before. In that issue 6, and there's that great Sienkiewicz thing variant, we do see Victorious, right? She pops up again. She will pop up somewhere. It's a full first appearance as well. The Herald of Doom. They're making her sort of that second in command. She's all over that book. I also brought up to Dan Slott another really funny character.
Hey Gary, what is that? So that's FF.
So that is the Fantastic Four 6. And there's a
from 2019 or 20.
So that's the 2019.
Okay.
And so in issue 6, so she made her first appearance. Her real name is actually, I think I have it. Her real name is Zora Vukovic. She's introduced as Zora Vukovic in the Fantastic Four issue 1. She takes on the persona of Victorious in issue 6 officially. Yeah, and then while we're looking at that,
is there a variant for 6?
There's that Sienkiewicz thing variant, 1 to 50. Yeah, it's a beauty. I have a couple of those sitting, and I've shown those. I just didn't want to pull them out again. This other character, a really weird character, her name is Wendy, and she's from the Fantastic Four as well. She's this character who summons shadow demons. She was pulled up early on. I brought her up to Dan Slott. Dan Slott said, yes, we're totally going to see her pop up again. She sort of, I think we're seeing, and she has this power sort of to create these shadow demons. This character actually, believe it or not, popped up all the way back in a one-shot, Fantastic Four 239. We see a one-issue all about this girl, Wendy. She summons shadow demons. We never see her again until the Dan Slott brings her back up. She will be coming back, but I think they're building up a new sort of young Fantastic team that will have Chronicle, Requiem, and this Wendy as well. Final thing I'm going to end up with and wrap up with. What are we at right now, Nico? Oh, my God. I'm almost 20 minutes into our Premier League.
Yes. There's basically goals and shit going all over the place.
You hear about Endless Winter?
No.
This is DC's December event that's coming up, and immediately I saw all the CBR Newsarama talk about this character, Endless Winter, who popped up in Justice League Classified or Justice Society Classified. I also see them bringing up Final Night. No, here's what Endless Winter is. Ready? And no one said anything about it yet, but come on. Did anybody read this book? Detective Comics 1016. The Mania of Mrs. Freeze. Mrs. Freeze. Not chasing this book, Justice League Cold War, not going after the Ice Pack. But at the end of her run, it says, this world isn't going to get warmer. It's going to get colder. A lot colder. There she is holding that ball in front of her right there. You want to chase her, of course, in Batman Mr. Freeze. That's where she makes her first official appearance. There was also a Dynamic Forces number to 500 with a certificate on that as well. But she will be the catalyst. I don't know if they're going to have other Freeze-based heroes that she's bringing together, but we've seen that, as I just showed in those other books as well. We saw that happen back in Justice League Adventures Cold War. I wouldn't be chasing that book because they don't have her. They have other icicle-based characters. They have, of course, Killer Frost, everybody loves. But I would chase her, and her first appearance as Mrs. Freeze was that 1016 right over there. And she's on the cover. There's a B cover as well that I think is one of those.
Wait a second. She first appears in 1016? As
Mrs. Freeze. But she first her Nora Freeze first appears in that story way back from the 1990. This is what you want to seek out, Nico. You want to look for the Batman Mr. Freeze, the Paul Dini book, just like that Harley Quinn. Remember Paul Dini did that back?
I didn't know if she was if she wore the goggles yet. It was all cold.
Yeah, so I think Nico, I think that was pretty much. I think I made it through my whole pile. Was there anything else I didn't show? No, the only other thing was the Wonder Woman run is about to start up. They're excited about Tamika. Is that who's in it? Mariko Tamika is on the run, and also the amazing art stylings of the guy who Michael Janin, who I love, who did Justice League Dark. I will tell you that the major villain in there, besides that liar who pops up in the book this week, is Max Lord. Max Lord, of course, Justice League 1. We know he's a major 80s villain for Wonder Woman 80, if that ever gets released down the line. I think that's pretty much it. We've run through our course. I think we threw a lot of stuff out there, Nico, as always.
Yeah, we need to get Mel's thing where you write down the book's names and numbers for me.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah, because I need to write. I end up with all these little Post-it notes everywhere that I make.
Do you want money for an intern? No. Okay. We'll keep trying though. If anyone wants to do that unpaid work, please feel free.
Hey, if we get 1,000 subscribers, we can get super chat, and then you guys can just pay somebody. They're going to need a 401k and health insurance though.
And just so you know, next week, so you can tell your friends, and we'll get our our numbers up. I'm going to give away a stack of stuff that I've spoken about. So
Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy.
Here's some of the stuff. Oh, Pandemica. I love that cover just because it happened right before the pandemic. I'm going to throw a lot of different stuff in there. I'm going to throw out a big stuff of future spec, older spec, some covers, some stuff I think may be interesting to you. So we're gonna do a throw out, and we'll figure that out. We'll figure some way to give that away. I heard the wheel is not the way to go, but I think that is all we had to say. We put it at 1 hour and 30 minutes. I thought we'd get an hour, but I just can't stop talking, and that's where we are, Nico. So
you're a good man. Have fun with Premier League.
Enjoy. Thank you so much, and check out Nico, of course, on his great interview show on Saturday nights. And also, of course, as a member of Tales from the Flipside.
Monday, forthcoming Modern Spec Show. Woo!
Oh, we got it. We got something coming on. Peace, guys. And sorry about the chat again. That